Alrighty, yes, hello, thank you for tuning in again. So I had somebody on one of the videos yesterday, the overhead press one, asking to make another video showing what we did for rehab for my dodgy shoulder. So very quickly, without too much messing around, training for the Husserfeld Stone in October in Iceland, and so my wife bought me the big Cerberus sandbag, that horrible thing, 140 kilos, and because I'm an idiot and I wasn't warming up and I was just dicking around, last September I picked it off the floor and tore my subscap in my shoulder. Absolutely couldn't I couldn't sleep on it for about a week, it was that painful.
Oh, you were murder.
Oh yes, I was murder. Difficult to believe, right? Couldn't bench press nothing. Overhead, couldn't bench press anything. So the first thing I had to try to find out is what range of motion I did have and find out what loading we could put on it to start work with it. I'm absolutely not a believer in just letting things get better by themselves. I think if you hurt something in a gym, you need to find out what you can do with that body part and start to put as much blood in it as possible. So I like to try to figure out what range of motion we have, whether that's external rotation or internal rotation, work with that and go from there. So in the first instance, I saw this little thing that Kelly Starrett, I don't know if any of you follow him, but he's the guy that wrote The Supple Leopard. You can find him on YouTube, The Ready State Kelly Starrett. The first thing I needed to find is what I could do that would take you to the edge of pain where you could then back off and go again just to flood blood in the area. So we get this voodoo band, they call it. Wrap it round.
Also known as floss, isn't it?
Sorry?
Is it also known as floss?
Yeah, voodoo floss back, yeah. I found, wrap this round. This was the very first thing I started to do. Wrap it round so it creates kind of like a bit of resistance in your hand. The tighter you wind it, the more resistance you get. And then start in this internally rotated position and then start to turn out. Now, when I first did it, I had about that range of motion. Literally, like if it was on a clock, 20 minutes. And then over time, started to find that I could have a bigger range of motion. And then over time, again, going to where it hurt and then come out. It hurts and then come out until we could fully wind all of the way around. We'll do that, however rep range I could get to, for 20 reps. Then go overhead. Overhead caused me the least pain. And again, wind up, 20 reps as far as you can. And then of course, out to the side. That's all I did for the first, probably 3 times a week for the first couple of months. Next thing, that's part one.
Thank you, glamorous assistant.
Glamorous assistant Edith. Put the band across. It's a different feel. It might just look the same, but it felt different because the resistance is different. So facing straight on, grip the band, externally rotate. How far can you get? Being sure to measure that it's as similar as possible to the good shoulder. The good idea with this, if you want to make it tougher, you can either come in and scale the load this way again, external. You can take both of them, which again makes it tougher. That's the first thing. The second thing. The next thing was because I'm a huge believer that hangs are an amazing thing for shoulder rehab. So because I'm only 5'10", but that rack is too small.
On a good day with a fair wind.
On a good day with a fair wind. Started to do hangs in a normal double overhand position, hanging for as long as possible. To start with, just 2 or 3 seconds, hurt that shoulder. So we'll do 2 or 3 seconds, come out of it, scale the load, back into it, scale the load. Eventually, when I could cope for 30 seconds, went into external rotation again, and that enabled me to take a little bit more load, which is excellent. Those were the first 3 things that we started to do. Next, all of this was all really simple stuff that we started to do that started the healing process. The next thing, just a simple dumbbell handle, trying to get some movement back in. Over, as you can see, I've still got nowhere near the range in the bad shoulder has the good shoulder, but it is making a difference, a huge difference. Started to do that, 25 reps every single day. 25 reps every single day. At the point where I was able to go to sleep and it wasn't waking me up, that's when I decided to start to put loaded movement through it, which was seated overhead press with just the barbell. And that's all it was, a small range of motion. So head right back in the bench and bringing it down to one of my chins and back up, chins, back up. If there was any pain, just bring it down to the pain and get out, bring it down, and usually find you can take it a little bit further each time. High reps to get blood in. Still hadn't bench pressed. The next thing was actually something that not many of you will maybe not have heard of, was seated dumbbell cleans, because that pumps the entire area up around the scap, your traps, and even a little bit of rear shoulder. So we simply sit on the edge of the bench, dumbbells facing forward, we shrug up and back, and then we're coming up in this cleaning motion, but quicker. So up and back into here, up and back into here, which was impossible once I'd had the initial tear in the subscap. So up and back, clean up and back, clean up. Sets of 8. We started off in the 5 kilo dumbbells, which is nothing, up to the 20s. Once hit the 20s, which took weeks and weeks and weeks, was when we were ready for the bench press, which is when we uploaded that video of the 140 kilo bench press, pain-free, followed by that 110 kilo overhead press the other day. Really simple things. The key message that I want to try to deliver with this, I know this is quite a serious video, is don't be scared of the pain so long as you're just going to it and then backing off. Don't go into it, just go to where you feel it and back off. The exercises have to put blood in the injured area. Don't let them heal themselves. Don't use ice because it's nonsense and it doesn't work. You don't need to rest it. You need to put movement through it and load the movement as you can. As you can load the movement, do. So those are all of the things. It's boring, it's miserable, but it's not as boring and miserable as being weak and not being able to press. So if you've got any of these injuries, these rotor cuff injuries, get your internal and external rotation sorted out, load it, start to do a bit more hanging. Hanging, you should be doing it every day, accumulating 7 to 10 minutes a day, and then start to do bigger movements to get blood into the whole area. Anyway, any more questions, feel free to hit me up and I'll look forward to ignoring them next time. Don't forget to subscribe and thank you to everyone that has. See you later. Bye, Louise. Bye, Evie. Catch you next time. Bye.